Doctor Who Survival, the 12th story of the 7th Doctor, is written by Rona Munro and starring Sylvester McCoy and Sophie Aldred, the final story in the classic era. The script editor Andrew Cartmel was approached by Rona Munro at a BBC script writing workshop and said that she killed to write for Doctor Who, so she developed the incorporated themes including the morals of hunting represented by the cheetah people and Ace's friend. Cartmel chose the title Survival. It was the one of the only handful of Doctor Who stories to be filmed completely on BBC outside broadcast video instead of the mixed OB and studio video that was more common during the late 1980s, and the mix of film and video that was usual before them. The Centauran Experiment, Delta and the Bannerman, Silver Nemesis, and The Curse of Fenric were also filmed solely on OB video. The story was shot in Horsenden Hill in Perivale, where the majority of the serial was filmed, some shot in Ealing outside and near the Drayton Court pub. So the story opens at Perivale in 1989, where a guy was cleaning his car and something teleported him away. Just before the Doctor and Ace materialised the TARDIS, Ace wanted to find her mates for catch-up, but they're nowhere to be found. Ace mentions how dull Perivale is, saying it's a boring place to live in. While a familiar voice is watching, which is the Master, Doctor and Ace investigate youth club. Sadly for Ace, the coffee bar is closed down, but in the gym there are youngsters wrestling told by Sergeant Patterson. He tells Ace that she couldn't find anyone, and apparently the police gave her warning. He already knew about Ace's past and that she was troubled, and the Doctor knew there was something about a black cat. So later, while the Doctor goes shopping for cat food, and there's an alien black cat, aka Kitterling, lurking around, and Ace found her old friend, Ange, collecting money on Medvale Parade for Hunt. Saboteurs, according to her, everyone mysteriously disappeared. We get a tense moment where Ace outruns a cheetah riding on a horse in a park. She then gets teleported to Cheetah World, and poor Stuart, a student in a youth club, gets killed. Ace reunited with Shrila and Midge. Unfortunately, Stevie is already dead, but they have a new friend called Derek. Meanwhile, as the Doctor got a cat food on the pavement, we get a amusing scene where a white cat was eating the food, which is the wrong cat, and a dog eating it. The Doctor was like, "Go away!" Because the woman was disturbed by the Doctor using her front garden as a hiding place, she complains to Sergeant Patterson, so he goes after the Doctor. As he went to Kitterling and Sergeant grabbed him, they both ended up in Cheetah World with intense moments where they're surrounded by cheetahs and discovered the Master in the tent with yellow eyes.
What an unexpected pleasure.
Awesome cliffhanger. It does have horror elements to it. The Master wanted to discuss the Doctor about something, but he and Sergeant managed to got the horse away. And we get a funny scene where Ace and her friends set a trap and thought she captured a cheetah, but instead there's Sergeant Patterson lying on the ground, looking scared, and the Doctor hanging upside down. Clearly often tells Ace off for playing with fire many times. So everyone tries to get past the cheetah people to the safe spot. It was working fine until the milkman teleports and gets attacked, so everyone except the Doctor runs and fights with Cheetah. The Doctor kept saying, "Don't move, stay still." What was so funny is the bloopers where Sylvester McCoy swore and just throws his hat and jacket off. Again, he's fantastic as the 7th Doctor. Sophie Aldred is great as Ace. At least we got more of her backstories, and pretty much the third and the last of the Ace trilogy. And it's great to see Anthony Ainley as the Master, aka the Tremas Master, the one who took the body from Tremas, Nessa's father, in The Keeper of Traken. He looks pretty terrifying with the yellow cat eyes.
We shall become animals.
It's a pity that it's his last appearance, although he did reprise the role in the cutscene of Destiny of the Doctor game.
Get a move on, slow coach.
Julian Holloway plays Sergeant Patterson, a non-commissioned officer in British Army who teaches teenagers of the survival techniques. I thought he did a great job. And did you know his daughter is Sophie Dahl, who is Roald Dahl's granddaughter, which is so cool. Originally, the character Sergeant Patterson was to be a police sergeant, but got changed to Army Sergeant because having a police behaving the way he does may be unsettling for a family audience. Lisa Bowerman plays Kara, who used to be a humanoid but got turned into a cheetah. She's great. Sakatala Ramani plays Shrila, Govindia, one of Ace's friend. She's great too. Will Barton plays Midge, who lived in Perryvale and got transported on Cheetah World. He looked terrifying when he got possessed. David John plays Derek, who lived in Cheetah World for 3 weeks. He's canny. Cheetah people are predatory, feline humanoids. I really love those creatures. They're terrifying. And also Kittlings, the alien cats who can teleport people. There's great casting. The music by Dominic Glynn is well done. The direction by Alan Waring, effects and sets are amazing. It feels more like modern era than classic era. The street looks more 1990s and 2000s, and which I really loved. I think it's probably because it kind of looks like that during the time when I was really small, and the planet with the sand, sea, light red sky and dead animals full of cheetahs and kittlings is pretty grim. So Ace sees a cheetah, which is Kara, at the lake and fed her with water. The doctor tells Ace to stay away. Midge impaled a cheetah with a tooth, and, well, he's one of them now. So the Master used him to get himself off the planet with Midge. So the doctor was hoping the one of them will change. Sergeant suspects that Derek could be next, but as Kara came, all of a sudden Ace's eyes change.
Doctor, look!
I was like, whoa! I'm not gonna lie, but my mum saw that when she was 11 on the day where part 2 was released. She recalled being excited, nervous and frightened at the same time, seeing that cliffhanger. Coincidentally, my stepdad saw it as well. He was 8 years old. He recalled being shocked and scared for Ace, plus he did have a crush on her during that time. So Ace runs with Kara. She tries to get Ace to eat bits of dead animal, but luckily the doctor stopped her. So Ace got everyone home. Sergeant thought he had a blackout, so he went back into the gym at youth club, but Midge was there with the Master, so Midge kills him. The doctor and Ace went to Midge's flat, and Midge's little sister Squeak was crying that her cat was killed, and Midge is possessed. I love the bit where the doctor and Midge are on the motorbike fighting each other, so the Master tells Midge to die, and Kara gets stabbed to death by the Master, which is a really sad scene. As the Master tries to get in the TARDIS, the doctor came in, and you gotta love the bit where they fight on Cheetah World. As the doctor lifts a rock, you can sort of see his eyes were changing, until he puts it down and realises what he's doing. We get a famous line, which is,
"If we fight like animals, we'll die like animals! If we fight like animals, we die like animals!"
It's so funny that he shouted it when he teleported back on Earth, and also when the woman taking out on the doctor with the cat fight issues. Funny enough, I saw in the comments on YouTube video that she could be young Jackie Tyler, Rose's mum, which would have been cool. So the doctor went to Ace. She's pretty much back to normal. The doctor makes a famous speech. McCoy did a voiceover for that ending speech.
Some of there's danger, some of there's injustice, and somewhere else the tea's getting cold. Come on, Ace, we've got work to do.
And it's a nice way to close the show as they're going for more adventures, but at the same time it's such a shame that it came to an end, well, for the time being. What happened was the view numbers went down, but then it literally was back on track, and sadly it was too late. In 1989 there was plans working for season 27. Andrew Cartmel has a talk with Ben Aronovich, Ian Briggs and Mark Platt about the ideas. This would have been Sylvester McCoy and Sophie Aldred's final season as the 7th Doctor and Ace. The fact that the show didn't return in 1990 and season 27 was cancelled, they adapt few stories on the Lost Stories Big Finish audio series. First serial was Bad Destination by Ben Aronovich, where they introduce a monster, a race of samurai-like insect warriors called the Metatraxi. This was planned as a story concerning the politics of humanitarian aid and opens with Ace as the captain of a starship, so the adaptation was released as Earth Aid. Second is Thin Ice, written by Mark Platt. Not Peter Capaldi's Thin Ice, but this version of Thin Ice would be set in London in 1968. They would have brought back the Ice Warriors, and it would have been the departure of Ace. She would have been taken to Gallifrey to become a Time Lord. The adaptation is released with its title. Number 3 is Action at a Distance. It would have introduced a new companion who's aristocratic cat burglar The story became Crime of the Century. Action, written by Robin Murkichi. What would happen is the Doctor plays a series of deadly games on an asteroid and would have likely led to the Seventh Doctor's regeneration. Blood and Iron, written by Andrew Cartmel, was being considered for the final serial also, but got adapted as Animal. Richard Griffiths was considered for the role as the Eighth Doctor, and Verity Lambert wanted Peter Cook to play him, but he turned it down. So Doctor Who ended in 1989 with Survival, until 16 years later in 2005, the series came back. The production team restarted the series, numbering from scratch, starring Christopher Eccleston as the Ninth Doctor, despite the 1996 TV movie starring Paul McGann as the Eighth Doctor. I really loved Survival. It is my favourite Seventh Doctor, Sylvester McCoy story. What did you think of Survival and Season 26? Let me know in the comments down below. It's also great to see Sophie Aldred back as Ace in the collection of Season 26 box set.
That one day, he'd be back. Wicked.
As well as The Power of the Doctor, alongside Janet Fielding as Tegan, and reuniting with Sylvester McCoy as the Seventh Doctor, as well as the other Doctors and companions, to explain why she left him. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.